Question number 1, what could be the right answer? So to measure using a micrometer, which apparatus is suitable? Which one of the following measurement would a micrometer screw watch be most suitable? Length of the page, it will not be accurate because, like example, you may have a 12 centimeter, 14 centimeters. So that's not, because micrometer normally we use for a smaller length. It can measure accurately to 0.01 millimeter. Length of the pencil itself is not accurate. Diameter of the wire, we can use a micrometer for that. And diameter of atom, it's very small, cannot be measured by a micrometer. So correct answer is is C for question 1. Question 2. I want everyone to participate. So for question 2, when we check the options, the speed time graph uh, represent a journey. Speed time graph, the area under the graph will give us the distance traveled. How does the graph shows the distance traveled in section X of the journey is greater than the distance traveled by section Y? So distance travel is given by the area under the graph. The distance of X is more than distance of Y. It means the area of X is more than area of Y. So area below X of a graph is greater than area below Y. That's why A is the right answer for this. Question 3. A car is traveling at the velocity of 2. So that's a starting speed. It accelerates, that's an acceleration. And it took 2.5 minutes. So if it's 2.5 minutes, the time should always be in seconds. So you have to convert into seconds. So 2.5 multiplied by 60, that's equal to 150. So time is equals to 150 seconds. And you need a final velocity, you need v. You have the formula a is equals to v minus u over t, or you need the final velocity, acceleration is 0.2, the final velocity we don't know, the initial velocity is 2, and the time interval is equals to 150. So first 150 multiplied by 0.2, so when 150 multiplied by 0.2, that will be equal to 30. So it means 30 is equals to v minus 2. If 2 is subtracted, other side it will add. So it will be 30 plus 2. Then it will be 32. That's why D is the right answer. Question 4. Which quantity is weight an example of? So you can identify from the unit. Weight, the unit is Newton, and the force, the unit is Newton. So it's example of force. Weight is actually a force. Question 5. So question number 5, when we compare the statements, look, you have two objects. One is on Earth, another one is on planet Mars. They mention a sphere P is made up of steel and it is having a weight of 10 Newton. So the weight is 10 Newton on Earth, and another sphere Q also made up of steel and it is having weight 10 Newton on Mars. So 10 Newton weight is there on Earth and 10 Newton weight is there on Mars. The gravitational field strength of the Earth is greater than the gravitational field strength of the Mars. So you have the formula W is equals to mg. Which statement is correct? Basically what happened, because weight is mass into gravity, so means the product of mass into gravity is giving you 10. So on Earth, if the gravity is stronger, so it means the mass of object should be, or object should be lighter, so that we'll get the answer 10. And on Mars, the gravity is weaker as compared to that of Earth. So if gravity is smaller, then this object should have more mass. So means the mass of the Q should be more than mass of P. So when we check the statements, according to the first statement, they say the mass of sphere P is same as mass of sphere Q. If they were having the same masses, then they should have a different weights. Like example, you have the formula W is equals to mg. So if mass is same, the weight depends on the gravity. So means the one which is having, like on Earth, should have a higher weight than what is there on the Mars. Because if the mass is same, the weight and the gravity are directly proportional. Objects are heavier on the planets which are having a stronger gravity. So this statement is not correct. The mass of sphere P is less than mass of sphere Q. That's true, because on Earth the gravity is stronger, so mass should be less, so that we'll get the weight 10. On Mars the gravity is weaker, so the mass of an object Q should be more, so that we'll get the same weight of an object. On Mars the weight of P is more than Q. That's totally wrong, because they already mentioned their weights, that 10 Newton on Earth, and on Mars the weight of the sphere P is more than 10 Newton. It cannot be more than 10 Newton, because if two objects have the same mass, because if we take uh, them to the another planet where the gravity is weaker, the weight will decrease. And on Earth the weight of Q is less, so that's again wrong, because if we take this Q on Earth, as the gravity increases, the weight will also increase. That's why option B is the correct answer for this. Question 6. I want participation from everyone. Question number 6. A metal ball is attached to a cork and it is lowered into a measuring cylinder. Pulling the cork into water as shown. What is the density? Density is mass over volume. The mass of the cork is given 4.8 grams. But what about the volume of the cork only? The volume of the water is 48. The volume of water plus sphere is 56, and volume of water, sphere and cork, that is 80. So what is the volume of the cork? You can simply take a difference because this is the volume of the water and the object submerged like the sphere. So when you take a difference, 80 minus 56, that is equals to 24. So 24 cm cube is the volume of the cork, because that is the volume it displays. The mass of the cork is 4.8 and the volume of the cork is 24. 4.8 divided by 24. What's the answer? So it will be 0.2 equal to B. Because we need the density of the cork, so we need the volume of the cork. How the volume is 24? Because this is the volume of the liquid, the water, which is 48. Then when you add this ball inside, this is the volume of water and the ball, which is 56. Then you add a cork inside, cork and ball, so this is the volume of water, cork and ball. So when you subtract these two values, V2 and V3, you will get the difference in the volume will give you the volume of the cork. This is the volume of the water, the liquid plus the ball. And this one is volume of liquid, ball and cork. So when you subtract, you will get the volume of the cork, which is 80 minus 56, that is equals to 24. And density is mass over volume, so mass is 4.8, divide the volume is 56, volume is 24, so 4.8 divided by 24, that will give you the final answer. Question 7. Look, even without calculation, this can be done. How this can be done? Because if they are balancing each other, so means the clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moments are same. You can use a formula and solve, but even without using a formula, you can also solve. Because when objects are heavy, they are placed close to the pivot, and when the objects are lighter, they are placed away from the pivot. Because a child P is balancing with child Q, but child P is closer to the pivot, so it means he's having more weight or more mass as compared to child Q. Otherwise, if they were having the same mass, then both should be at the same distance from the pivot. So it cannot be equal, it cannot be more. So the only option we are left with A. So without calculation, this can be done, or you can use a clockwise moment equal to anti-clockwise moment. So 25 into 1.2 is equals to 1.5 into x. You can do this method, that's also right, or without calculation, just using your understanding of the topic. Then when two objects have different masses and I want to balance them on a pivot, so the object which is heavier, like if this is a plank and a pivot, and I want to balance two objects, one is heavy, another one is lighter. So the heavy object should be placed closer to the pivot and the lighter object should be placed away from the pivot so that they can balance their moment, the clockwise and anti-clockwise moment. So already you can see if a child P is closer to the pivot, so means he is heavier than child Q. So the child Q will have a less than 25, and less than 25 only one value is there. So A is the right answer. But other method in which you are using a formula, the moment clockwise and anti-clockwise moment, you can also get the same result. The diagram shows three forces acting on the object. What is the value of the resultant force? How to do this question? Basically, this resultant force will make a triangle. How it will make a triangle? Look, a 1 Newton on the left hand side and 8 Newton on the right hand side. So what is the resultant force on the horizontal side? So resultant force will be, if 9 Newton on the right hand side and 1 Newton on the left hand side. So resultant force on the right hand side will be equal to 8 Newton. And there is also an upward force. How much is the upward force? That is 6 Newton. So a 6 Newton force is upward. So how I can get the resultant? The resultant force will be equal to, from the start of the first to the end of the last, that is the resultant force. And what it is making? Which figure it is making? It is making a triangle. So when it's making a triangle, a right angle triangle, this one is a hypotenuse for you. So you will use the Pythagoras theorem. So you will use the Pythagoras theorem. And according to Pythagoras theorem, the hypotenuse square, in mathematics you have studied this, hypotenuse square is equals to base square plus perpendicular square. So base is 8, 8 square plus perpendicular is 6, so 6 square. 8 square 64 and 6 square 36. So that is equals to 100. But that is hypotenuse square is equals to 100. But we need only hypotenuse. So what you have to do? You have to take a square root. That's why the answer is B. So when there are two forces which are making a triangle, then the resultant is always a hypotenuse. If this was not there, like only the force which was given in the question example, if it was given in this manner, then the answer will be 8 Newton toward right hand side. But because there are two forces, one on x-axis, there are forces on x-axis and force on y-axis. So the resultant will be the hypotenuse of the right angle triangle. An object of mass 0.2 kilogram moves at a speed of 0.2 meter per second. Which of the object has the momentum that is identical to momentum of this object? Identical momentum. Keep in mind the momentum is a vector quantity. So direction is also important. Look, when I multiply 0.2 with 0.2, it will give us 0.04. When I multiply these two, I will get 0.04. But this is not identical momentum because this is upward. When I multiply these two, 0.04, but this is not identical, this is downward. 0.04, but magnitude is same, but it is on the left hand side. Where when you check 0.4 multiplied by 0.1, 0.04, and that is in the same direction as the one. That's why we call them as identical momentum. If the same question was there in exam and they asked which one is opposite momentum, instead of this word identical, they might change that is opposite to the momentum of the object, then what will be the answer? So then D will be the answer because D is opposite to the one which is given. But as the question is identical, that's why C is the right answer. Question 10. Look, a stone is dropped from rest. So initial velocity is 0. The height, the distance is given. Above the surface of the planet where there is no atmosphere, so no air resistance, the speed of the stone just before hitting the planet's surface, that's v. What is the acceleration of a free fall? How to find acceleration of a free fall? When two speeds are there, we always take an average speed. Look, the formula speed is distance over time. First, you should know how much time it will take to reach the ground, and then using a time, you will use another formula, v minus u over t, to get the acceleration. So speed is distance over time. The distance is given 2. What about the speed? Because here we have two speed. It starts from rest and it is hitting the ground at the speed of 3.8. So when two speeds are there, we always substitute the average speed. So what will be the average speed of 0 and 3.8? The average. So you will add them, 0 plus 3.8 divided by 2. That will be equal to 1.9, the average speed. Distance is 2 and the time t. So it will be 2 divided by 1.9. What is the answer for 2 divided by 1.9? 1.05. So 1.05 is the time it will take. So whenever in the question you have two speeds, you will always use average speed here in this formula. Speed is distance over time, so average speed is there. Because it start from rest means the initial speed was 0 and then finally it reached 3.8. And then you need an acceleration. What is the formula for acceleration? V minus u over t. So the final speed is 3.8, initial speed is 0 and the time interval is 1.05. So the final answer will be 3.6 1 or 3.6 meter per second square. Is it clear? Discussion. So whenever you have two speeds, you always substitute average speed. You can also use the formula, the kinetic energy changed to potential energy. That can also be done. Because what happened in the beginning, it is having a potential energy. As it is dropped, the potential energy will change into kinetic energy, and there is no energy change, like energy loss. Energy change is there, but there is no energy loss to the surrounding. Potential energy is equals to kinetic energy. The formula for potential energy is mgh. And for formula for kinetic energy is half mv square. So m will cancel with m. So you have gh is equals to 0.5 v square. G is the gravity which you are finding. So G is equals to 0.5 into v square divided by h. And this v is the speed at which it is hitting the ground, means the final speed at which it hits the ground, which is 3.8. So when you substitute in this formula, 0.5 multiplied by the speed at which it is hitting the ground, 3.8 square, and divided by height, you will get the same result, which is 3.6. So both ways you can solve this question. You can use the formula for acceleration and the speed, or you can use the conservation of energy, that the potential energy at the maximum height changes to kinetic energy just before it hits the ground. Question 11. You need efficiency. An electric motor uses 1000 joules and provide 450 useful. So efficiency is useful energy divided by total energy multiplied by 100. Useful energy output, so useful energy output is 450. Total energy input, that's 1000 multiplied by 100. So these two zeros will cancel with 0, and what you're left with, 45% efficiency. Question 12. To calculate a power produced by a force, the size of force must be known. What else we need to calculate the power? So we have power is equals to work divided by time, and work is force into distance divided by time. Work is force into distance, so the power will become force into distance divided by time. So to calculate a power, we already have the force. So what else we need? We should know the distance and we should know the time it will take. So we need both of them. Question 13. A barometer reads 780 millimeter. The mercury density is 1.36 exponent 4. What is the pressure of the atmosphere in Newton per meter square? Pressure exerted, density, gravity, and depth. Density is there, but the gravity, because on Earth 10. And what about the depth? It's given in millimeter. You have to convert into meter. So millimeter to meter, you will divide by 1000. What is the answer for the pressure in exerted by this mercury? Question 13. Yeah, so in terms of exponent, so it will be B. Because the density is 1.36 into 10 to the power 4 multiplied by gravity, which is 10, multiplied by depth, and the depth is given 780 millimeter or 0.78. Because in a barometer, what happened? This is a mercury barometer. Which is having a filled with a mercury, and we inverted a tube. So the atmosphere force the mercury to rise in the tube. So as the atmosphere forces mercury to rise in the tube, so the level of the mercury will change and it will stop at certain point. When it will stop at this point, basically what happened, at this point what happened, the pressure due to the atmosphere balances with the pressure due to the liquid. That's why the mercury stop rising. So we can say the atmospheric pressure is equals to the liquid pressure, and the liquid pressure is given by density, gravity and depth. So we can find that atmospheric pressure. Density is 1.36 into 10 power 4. The gravity on earth, that is 10, and the depth, which is 7, this height, the depth is this height, the difference in the level, which is 780 millimeter, but that should be in meter, which is equals to 0.78. So when you multiply, you will get B is the answer. Question 14. The diagram shows a mercury barometer. Which height is used to measure the atmospheric pressure? Which height we use to calculate the atmospheric pressure? So as I mentioned, because what happened, the atmospheric pressure and the liquid pressure balances the difference in the level of the mercury in a container to the level of the mercury in a tube. That height we take, and that is equals to C. A student splashes water onto her face. Here are three statements. Which statements are correct? Water uses energy to evaporate, that's true. Water gain energy from the student face, that's also true. And the face of a student cool down because evaporation is the cooling process. So all these statements are correct. Question 16. When a bridge is built, a gap is left and each concrete slab. Why is it is left? Because the concrete will expand when it the day or when it get warmer. So when a bridge is built, a gap is left. Why? Because so that concrete will expand, and the specific heat of a P is greater than Q. Why? Because specific heat is proportional to energy. So P required more energy for a change in temperature compared to Q. And the last one, the mass of the ice, this is 50 and 160. When you subtract, the mass of the ice is 110, and energy is latent heat multiplied by mass. So latent heat is 334 and the mass is 110. That's why C is the right answer.